Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The decision to release Seth Curry isn't as easy as it seems. Although his name is associated with the Warriors' success, this move demonstrates a broader strategy. Beyond freeing up space, the franchise signals a shift in strategy as it navigates the complexities of the current season. Curry, who recently joined the Warriors after a season with the Charlotte Hornets, has distinguished himself with his ability to influence games from beyond the arc and his excellent on-court rapport with his brother, Stephen. However, the organization's decision indicates they are prioritizing a different approach, focusing on long-term goals rather than immediate solutions. The Curry brothers would be NBA teammates for the first time. The Warriors chose to unite Seth and Steph Curry when the franchise signed Seth to a one-year deal at the end of September. On Saturday, the team announced that they waived Seth just ahead of their regular season opener against the Lakers Tuesday. While the transaction might seem odd, there's a reason the Warriors made the move now. According to Spotrac, Golden State is over the NBA's first salary cap apron and has just above $2 million of room under the second apron. They are hard-capped at the second apron, since they are above the first apron and used their taxpayer mid-level exception to sign Al Horford. That means the Warriors can't go above the second apron, which they remain just under. Seth's veteran minimum contract would bring them over the second apron, so the team simply can't afford to roster him immediately. According to ESPN's Anthony Slater, there's an expectation that he will return to the team at some point in the first couple months of the season. The minimum contract Seth will likely ink with the Warriors gets prorated if it's signed after the regular season starts, so the Warriors will presumably wait until the number is minimized enough to fit within their space under the second apron. He spent last season with the Hornets, where he averaged 6.5 points in 15.6 minutes per game and shot 45.6% from deep on 2.7 three-point attempts per game. Once Seth officially joins the Warriors, it would become the first time the Curry brothers were teammates over their NBA careers. Golden State has an open roster spot, which Slater mentioned will remain vacant until Seth's anticipated return. Warriors' Steve Kerr announces Jonathan Kuminga injury update before NBA season. Golden State Warriors forward Jonathan Kuminga played just 18 minutes for head coach Steve Kerr in Tuesday's 118-111 loss to the Portland Trail Blazers. The 23-year-old, who signed a two-year, $46.8 million extension with the Warriors in the offseason, was ejected from the game in the second quarter after arguing with the referee. After the game, Kuminga explained that he was clipped from behind as he drove to the basket. He got hit on the same previously injured ankle that cost him 31 straight games on the sidelines last season. The 6'8" swingman was incensed that the referees did not call a foul on what he deemed a dangerous play, which ultimately resulted in Kuminga getting tossed after two consecutive technical fouls. The Warriors were back in action on Friday in their final preseason game. They battled the Los Angeles Clippers in a tune-up contest just days before they start the regular season with a highly anticipated matchup against Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers on Tuesday. Unfortunately for the Warriors, Kuminga was not available to play. He avoided a suspension for his actions against the Blazers, but the NBA fined him $35,000 for making inappropriate contact with a game official. However, the reason he was unable to take the court on Friday was due to an injury. Coach Kerr spoke to reporters before the game and revealed that Kuminga would sit out the preseason finale because of an ankle injury. Kerr also stated that Kuminga sustained the injury on the same play that ultimately led to his ejection on Tuesday night, hat tip NBA reporter Nick Friedel. The severity of Kuminga's injury is unclear at this point. However, the silver lining is that Kerr revealed after the game that he expects Kuminga to practice on Sunday and Monday and be available against the Lakers on Tuesday. Kuminga is coming off another big year for the Warriors last season. Playing in his fourth year in the NBA, the Democratic Republic of Congo native put up averages of 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, 2.2 assists and 1.0 triples in 24.3 minutes per contest. Warriors vow to make fixes before 2025-26 NBA season opener versus Lakers. Stephen Curry concluded his 2025 NBA preseason Friday night as the best player on the floor, while the rest of the Warriors too often looked like the squad that fumbled and bumbled its way through the heart of last season. You may recall the days and nights of before Jimmy Butler III arrived to fill the role of stabilizing sidekick, helping Curry lift the team to heights it never would have achieved. After the Warriors' performance in the preseason, they might welcome back Butler with a kiss. Their most significant minutes in a 106-103 loss to the diminished Los Angeles Clippers were a festival of turnovers and errant shooting. In what often is considered a dress rehearsal for the regular season, there was more disorder than order. The first quarter was an utter disaster for the Warriors, with 11 turnovers turning into 16 of LA's 31 points. Golden State committed 23 turnovers in all, gifting the Clippers 29 points. 9 turnovers in the first 6 minutes, Coach Steve Kerr said. That bothers me. Brandon Podziemski committed 3 giveaways in the first quarter and finished with 6. Draymond Green committed 2 in his first 7 minutes and finished with 5. A lot of turnovers, a lot of careless turnovers, said Al Horford, who committed 1 turnover in 20 minutes. I started with 1, I'm going to the post and threw it out of bounds. And I feel like after that, we just kind of snowballed. Some chaos is natural, as injuries to Moses Moody and Butler, starters late last season, have Kerr shuffling through a variety of lineups, some of which might never again be seen. Curry, who committed 1 turnover in 30 minutes, made no excuses for those who were on the court, no matter the lineups. I would say it was more sloppy play in general, Curry said. But preseason is interesting because you're trying stuff out, but there's not as much game plan preparation in the sense of, what do the Clippers do? We have a mentality to that kind of approach, and you save a lot of that for the regular season. In short, the Warriors were keeping their regular season plans under wraps. Didn't matter that the Clippers were without Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Brook Lopez and Chris Paul. Golden State's biggest concealment, though, was the absence of Butler. He is among the best in the game at assessing disarray and restoring order. On a night when the Warriors sorely needed that skill, he was missing his 3rd consecutive game after tweaking his left ankle last weekend. He appeared in only 2 of the 5 preseason games. He is, for this roster, a key ball handler and, also, the cleanup man. Some of it was odd rotations, but some of it is just careless play and lack of fundamentals, Kerr said. One hand passes off the dribble when 2 hands are available. And if you have 2 hands on the ball, and the guy cuts as you're passing, you can pull it back. But one hand, you throw it out of balance. And we had several of those. So, the fundamental stuff has to improve. But, I think Jimmy solves a lot of that. Said Horford, I do think that once Jimmy gets back out there and all our guys, I feel like there will be more of an awareness, an urgency, and understanding that we have to take care of the ball. The Warriors committed 110 turnovers in their 5 preseason games, averaging 22 per game. That's about 6 or 7 more than Kerr's comfort zone. We definitely had a turnover problem throughout the preseason, Kerr said. But I'm confident that when the lights go on Tuesday, our guys will be locked in. We had a lot of mix and match lineups, but that's not an excuse for the careless ones. So, we've got to improve. We need a couple of good days of practice before we head out to LA, but I'm confident we can. We should be fine. Taking care of the ball has been an issue with the Warriors for 11 seasons. It remains one of the points of emphasis for every game. Butler is the antidote. At least they hope he is. Stephen Curry wants to play into his 40s, follow in the footsteps of LeBron James. Stephen Curry isn't ready to close the book on his NBA career anytime soon. Speaking with Essentially Sports, the Warriors star said he's training to stay at an elite level into his 40s, explaining that his goal is to be healthy enough to keep playing as long as he chooses. All I'll say is that I just want the option, if I'm at a legitimate ability, to be able to play, Curry said. I don't know if it'll make sense, or if I would want to, whatever the case is. But if I can make the decision, and the decision is not made for me, that's a big, big point. The Hornets roster finally has promise Evan Turner and Chris Mannix. Many NBA stars have played into their 40s, and some have even thrived in starting roles. The list includes legends like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, Dirk Nowitzki, and LeBron James. While Steph has made no promises, he believes he's on track to join them, assuming his fire and passion never fade. "A lot of it is the foundational work that I've put in since I started," Curry told Essentially Sports. 1. I still love it. I'm blessed with being with a team around me that has helped take the spirit that I'm trying to put into it and give me the framework that keeps the body limber and loose, and the injury prevention stuff. The rest of it is a toughness to get out there and do the work. I still love and want to keep it going. There's no singular moment when an athlete knows it's time to retire. While every player is different, some have described it as a gradual decay of their love for the process. The sport itself becomes a grind, and it becomes impossible to keep up with the demands of a long season. For Stephen Curry, that fire is still burning. At 37 years old, he's ready for another dominant run, and he has the perfect example to follow in the years to come, LeBron. At 40, going into his 23rd season, LeBron James has broken every metric for longevity, and he's living proof that a player can succeed long after their athletic prime. Now, Steph is seemingly headed down a similar path. After averaging 24.5 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 6.0 assists per game last season, he hasn't shown signs of aging. In fact, Curry believes this season could be another one for the history books. With Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and Jonathan Kuminga at his side, the two-time MVP has a chance to add even more accolades to his illustrious resume. Despite what his age might imply, Curry's NBA reign isn't over yet, and he is committed to making the most of it for as long as he can. This mindset is why Steph remains one of the most respected players in the league. His love for the grind and commitment to excellence have kept him at the top for nearly 2 decades, and if he has his way, he'll keep rewriting NBA history for several years to come. What we learned from the Warriors preseason. Everyone is dying for the regular season to begin. Al Horford said it best after the Golden State Warriors' final preseason game of 2025. "Happy we're done with that part," Horford joked, half kidding, half serious. "We can get ready to start." It's clear, after 5 preseason games and 2 long weeks of training camp, the Warriors are more than ready for the regular season to start and to play in games that actually matter. And while it's hard to distinguish what is real and what is not real in preseason, especially with rotations in flux, starters playing limited minutes, and third-stringers making up the bulk of the second-half minutes, there are still some things to take away from Golden State's preseason. Stephen Curry is ready to rumble. Preseason may be fundamentally meaningless in the eyes of basketball databases we'll keep tucked away forever. But it still has its purposes. In Stephen Curry's case, it's to ramp up for the regular season. As per his usual preseason routine, the Warriors slowly increased his minutes this preseason each game to get him closer and closer to what they'll ask him to do in the regular season. In the preseason finale versus the Los Angeles Clippers, Curry played close to 30 minutes, collecting 20 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds in what looked like a dress rehearsal for the 37-year-old future Hall of Famer. Head coach Steve Kerr talked about ramping Curry up steadily this preseason. "He's been ramping up, and I think the most he had played was in Portland. Maybe 24, 25 minutes, and he wanted to get to 30 tonight. All of this was by design. This is his routine. He likes to get the last preseason game, get to around 30 minutes, and he's ready to roll." Curry, who's looked as sharp as ever this preseason, talked about the reasoning behind his unique routine, one that most NBA stars don't tend to follow. "That's kind of been my usual pattern in preseason," Curry said. "Try to slowly build every game, as close to a full scope of minutes. Just to get over the hump, your second wind, and feel what it feels like down the stretch after a couple breaks. It's more mental than anything, just to kind of get ready for Tuesday." The two-time MVP was later asked how he feels physically entering his 17th season in the league. "As good as I can. Take advantage of the offseason. We had a really good camp overall. It's obviously been tough, a couple of injuries with Moses, Moody, and Jimmy, Butler 3, missing some time, but as long as we come, hopefully, on Tuesday with as many guys ready to go as possible, and hopefully get off to a good start. I feel good, and I think we're excited. The Warriors will be much more versatile than in years past. As Curry said, injuries have somewhat dampened the anticipation for the Warriors this regular season. But that doesn't change the fact that Golden State enters this season with more options rotationally than it's had in quite a while. With the addition of Al Horford, the Warriors finally have a true stretch 5 center who can play alongside Draymond Green. With the option to play more traditionally with Green and Horford in the backcourt, the Warriors won't have to overexert Green at the small ball 5 like they did last season. Before the game, Kerr talked about where Golden State is in terms of their rotation and lineups. The big question for us is how we want to start. Do we want to start big with Al? Or do we want to start small with Draymond at the 5? Kerr said. He referenced the starting lineup of Brandon Podziemski and Moses Moody next to the star trio core that helped lead the Warriors to the postseason as a potential option. But Kerr also talked about the nuance of managing Horford's minutes due to his advanced age. It's hard to start a guy if he's only playing 20 minutes and finish the game. If he starts and finishes, he's sitting almost the entire middle part of the game, which is very awkward. So you have to factor that in. We have to factor in Draymond. I don't want him guarding 7-footers for 82 games. So we might end up with, multiple starting lineups. We haven't decided. It's looking like they'll oscillate between those two kinds of lineups throughout the season, depending on the matchup. But with Horford and the wing depth they've accumulated, Golden State has way more tools at its disposal than maybe since the 2022 championship team. Rookie Will Richard is rising. Cannot emphasize enough how different preseason basketball is from regular season basketball. As Kerr and Curry have explained, teams do not gameplan these games. There's no scouting, and the players are essentially freestyling it to a certain degree. But if there are a few things that translate from half-baked, borderline pointless games, it's IQ, hustle, and defensive principles. And second-round rookie Will Richard has displayed those 3 things and a little bit more here in the preseason. Richard finishes the preseason with a respectable 8.6 ppg, 3.0 rpg, 1.8 apg, and 1.4 SPG on 36.8% shooting and 32% from beyond the arc. Along with his hustle and activity on defense, he's looked fluid in the Warriors' offense. He's been good cutting off ball as well as a willing passer, finding the open man in motion. Kerr expressed his confidence in Richard all preseason long and believes he'll be ready when his number is called this season. He was transparent that the rookie is on the outside looking in rotation-wise, barring injuries. Will can really play. It's exciting. You can see it when he's out there, and the game makes sense. He's in the right spot. The ball moves, he's not afraid to shoot it. He's a good defensively. I think Will is going to be in the league for a long time, Kerr said. High praise from a man who's done literally everything in the NBA. We'll see how Richard fares in his rookie campaign, but this preseason has shown the Warriors can throw him out there in spot minutes and feel comfortable he won't be a negative.